What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Eric's house. Today we're talking Alien Romulus. Took me a little while to get to this movie. I am a big fan of the franchise, especially, of course, the first two, Alien and Aliens. Absolute classics. I don't even know which one I like more. They're both amazing. Alien 3 pisses me off every time I watch it because at the beginning of that movie, once it gets going, I'm okay with it, although the special effects are pretty bad. It's got its problems for sure, but it's got some entertainment value. Same for Alien Resurrection. Just a wild, crazy movie. What the hell is going on? But fun to watch for sure. Then the last two, though, Prometheus, I like a lot about Prometheus, but that's when the logic issues start. Characters just making dumb decisions that make no sense, and then it gets doubled down in Covenant, and I just did not like Covenant at all. Pretty much hate that movie, and it just didn't leave me excited for another one. So when I heard that Alien was coming out with a new movie, I wasn't like super excited, and that's why I didn't run out to see it opening night. I was going to eventually see it, and I have now, and I was a little bit excited because of the reviews. The reviews are saying how awesome this movie is, and that got me pumped up because certainly the last one, Alien Covenant, did not get the greatest reception. So what did I think of this one, though? Do I agree that this is awesome, that this is almost like a throwback to the first two movies? Maybe not quite that good, but close? By and large, I agree with that assessment. It was awesome. There's a lot of great things in this movie, and it did give me a lot of vibes from the first two, but not just from the first two. That's what I kind of appreciate about this movie is I feel like there was a lot of respect given to the franchise, and Fede Álvarez, who directed it, really did his research, found out as much as he could about this franchise, watched all the movies probably multiple times, took notes, I'm sure, up the wazoo, and came out with a movie that really respects the franchise, but also takes some risks, goes in a few new directions, but not to the extent that other franchises do with new directors who don't respect the lore and just go crazy and just ruin everything. Rian Johnson, Star Wars. This is a situation where you get a true Aliens movie. I mean, really is a throwback. The seriousness of the movie is more similar to the first couple of movies. The horror takes you back to the first Alien movie in 1979. The suspense is there. Character decisions, there's a couple I'll talk about, but nothing like Covenant or Prometheus. And I'm staying very vague. I don't want to give any spoilers. If you haven't seen this, I do recommend you check this one out. The horror is elevated, and some of the gore is elevated. This is a true slasher type film, but still with some good thrills and some good suspense, and also amazing visuals that respect the franchise. You got the old analog style computers from 1979. Everything fits. And they even bring back a familiar face. If you already don't know, I won't spoil it, but there is a familiar face they brought back I did not know was going to be in this movie. It's causing a little bit of controversy, but I liked the decision personally. And I thought it just made it all the more genuine, all the more like you're watching a real Aliens movie. I mean, this is the movie that we've been waiting for since Aliens. This has to be the best sequel since Aliens. I mean, I don't know which one would be better. Like, I really don't like any of them particularly. Like I just talked about, Alien Resurrection's not that great. It's not a good movie, but it's just kind of enjoyable. Alien 3 is obviously a disaster. And I just talked about how I don't love that. And if you talk about the Alien versus Predator movie, those are not really Alien movies in my opinion. And they're not that great anyway. But this one's got everything you want, and it's definitely better than Alien Covenant. And I would say probably beats out Prometheus pretty easily, just because Prometheus is an interesting movie, but it's not really a hardcore Aliens movie. It's just a movie that takes place in the Alien universe, a super prequel that goes back. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the lore, and I like that movie. But it just, this is what we want. This is what Aliens fans want. But I'm kind of babbling and going on. Let me just say that the basic premise of the movie involves a group of people. They need to get something from another spacecraft in order to survive their long journey ahead. And that puts them in this abandoned spacecraft, which is really cool. I like the vibes. I love like abandoned buildings, even here on Earth. You go into it's got a creepy factor to it, right? And this is the same thing, except there are androids in there, so that can still move and can still speak because they're not humans. And there's something else in there, obviously. that's alive and could be a slight threat. And so we have this cool vibe, like going back to the original, of just moving around, but you know you're not alone. And it really brings cool horror vibes that we haven't seen since the first movie. But it also has like some of the thrills from the second, and it even acknowledges the other movies, even Prometheus and Covenant. So it's just, I'm just blown away by the respect that was given to the franchise. And like I said, at the end, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but holy shit, I thought the movie was coming to an end. They had one more big surprise in store, and that's when they go and take a big swing in a new direction. And I'm sure some fans aren't going to love it, but for me, they gave so much respect beforehand, and they have a reason for what happened that makes sense in the universe, in the franchise. It makes sense. Something happened that has never happened before that produces insane and crazy and horrifying results that you just have to see, that is going to blow you away if you haven't. And it really was just out of left field in a way, but also, like I said, you know, if they were just disrespecting, going, just throwing shit at the wall and just doing whatever with this franchise, and then that happened, I'd be like, oh God, now this. But because they gave so much respect to the franchise and had something happen that has never happened before, make this crazy event happen, I was okay with it. Not only okay with it, I thought it was freaking awesome, and I can't wait to see more in the next movie and what potentially could happen now that we have this new lore in the franchise. All in all, the movie was awesome, entertaining, a classic Alien movie that respected the franchise, but not to say it was perfect. And I do have a few negatives. I talked about character decisions. Now, that was a big problem in the last two. Here it's better. There's a couple of little tropey moments where someone's in a situation where there's clearly a problem and they just stare at it. Staring at an alien that's about to kill you, right? Everyone can feel it. Maybe turn around and run away, or just stand there and go like this. There was one character who was particularly annoying, just a complete piece of shit, a jerk, an asshole. They try to tell a little backstory of why he's that way. It goes nowhere. And that guy was just, he just brought the movie down. He's just a piece of shit. And I just don't know what the point of him being there. Again, a little tropiness. Got to have the jerk character. Got to have, you know, these characters that fit certain tropes. I felt a little tropey. I thought some of the acting honestly wasn't that great from even the main character, Cailee Spaeny. And I saw her in Civil War. I saw her in Priscilla. I reviewed both of those movies. So I've been on top of her career. She was okay here. I just thought some of the line delivery wasn't the best. I didn't think she was as good here as she was in those other two movies. And some of the other acting was not that great. Now, I will say, the main android in this movie, character's name is Andy, played by David Jonsson. Wow, he knocked it out of the park. He knocked it out of the park and had to play basically two different characters in the movie because the android gets a little upgrade, so to speak, and a personality change, and he just was, you would believe it completely. He was amazing. That was super impressive. And the last negative is one line that was the most cringe moment in the movie, totally unnecessary, said by that character, Andy. It was a throwback line to one of the previous movies that made no sense in that situation. It's not something that character would say, and it was said awkwardly, and it was stupid, and I hated it, and you didn't need it there at all. And it was really bad. And I don't know if they think that fans are going, yeah, say the line. Like, come on, like, I'll be back in Terminator. You don't need to say I'll be back in every Terminator movie. This was that kind of line, except more awkward and more weird. And it just belongs in the original movie it was in. It doesn't need, it's fine. He could have even used a variety of it, a variant of it, and it would have been maybe okay. But they went full on and said the whole line, and it was bad. It was cringe. It was terrible. But that's really it. I mean, a couple of little things here. I thought some of the acting wasn't that great. That line was cringe, and that character was cringe. Some character decisions, kind of stupid. But other than that, I mean, yeah, that's a few. And that's why I would say this movie is not a masterpiece, but it was freaking awesome. I highly recommend Alien Romulus. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with me on those negatives if you've seen it? Did you think that line was nice and well timed? And were you like, yeah, he said it, the line? Didn't need that. The movie didn't need it. Have a great day. We'll see you.